Hi, reading group. I hope you're doing well. If you can believe it, we are already starting week 9 of the semester. I don't know about you, but to me it seems like it has really flown by. So I hope you're still doing well and looking forward to another week of classes. So for this week, we are going to be shifting our attention a little bit. So just for some context, as you know, first we kind of started talking big picture about 21st century literacy, and those skills and what that requires for each of our disciplines. Then we moved into comprehension and talked about a couple of specific kinds of learners related to comprehension. So just in general, what do we do to help students comprehend? What do we do to help students who have a harder time comprehending text? What do we do with students who are stronger to challenge them? We got into differentiation. We talked about motivation, so maybe students who can't read the text, and then students who don't want to read the text, and ways that we can introduce text in interesting ways. Beyond that, we also talked about students who are speaking English as an additional language, and what are some strategies for those students. The last 3 weeks, then, we've been talking specifically about these different components of literacy, so vocabulary, discourse, and writing. So now we're shifting for these last 2 weeks of new content, and then after that you guys are going to be doing the literacy website and the unit plan. But before we do that, we are going to be talking about digital literacy, and you're going to notice that I'm saying digital literacy because we are thinking about this in terms of literacy. This is not as simple as technology integration or technology for technology's sake, but we know that our students, your students, will have had technology ever since they were little kids. They grew up with phones in their hands, and some of them even learning to read online. So the students have the technology, but as teachers, our role is how do we help students to become digitally literate, and how do we help students to become responsible users of technology? And then how do we do that? How do we use technology in digital text to enhance what we're already doing within our content area? So not to replace what we're doing, but to enhance what we're already doing and to meet those goals. And so for this week, you guys are going to be reading from both of the course text and thinking, one, about some of the demands of the Common Core State Standards in terms of technology integration, and thinking about this idea of multimodality. So how can we allow students to use technology to express their thinking and their work and their understanding in multimodal ways? And so we're going to be thinking about text in your content areas and the goals that you have for your classes, and then just how do we bring technology, how do we create technology-rich classrooms? As most of you know, and a lot of you probably experienced in your own education, students nowadays all have some type of tablet or laptop. Even my first grader has an iPad as of this year. And so the students always have technology at their fingertips. But then for us as teachers, what does that mean? How do we create these environments where there's not just technology, but we're using it in really meaningful ways? So those are some of the questions that you're going to be exploring for this week. We will have our weekly discussion as always on Wednesday, so I hope you can join us for that. Otherwise, for those of you who prefer, you can do the discussion forum as always. And then you guys are going to be creating an assignment this week that asks you to consider multimodality and using technology in ways that students can see this new possibilities of these tools, according to the text. And so you guys are going to be creating a technologically rich assignment. So you're going to be choosing a standard in your content area, thinking about all of the several different strategies mentioned in the text, and creating an assignment that aligns with the text ideas. That will be a literacy assignment, and that will be technologically rich. As always, let me know if you have any questions, and have a good week.